All right, gentlemen, in the next set of questions, please tell us your understanding of the proper role of the federal government for each area, and also your specific proposals for reform. You'll have 2 minutes per area. Clue, the 3 areas are energy policy, trade policy, banking reform. Yes, energy, trade, and banking reform. Mr. Russell, we're going to start with you. What is the proper role for the federal government regarding energy policy, and what specific proposals do you have?
I love the questions about energy. This is great. All right, y'all. This is the deal with energy. We've got federal mandates that are limiting our ability to drill offshore. We've already heard that tonight. We've got to end those now. Okay? The federal government is directly involved with limiting our ability to drill. Go to the gas pumps. Gosh, I came over here tonight and I had to fill up my car. And when I pulled up to the pump and it said $2.50, I said, when did it get to $2.50 again? You know, it wasn't too long ago. We were at $4 and everybody started saying, oh, we got to start doing something. Mr. Brady went to the Capitol building at the end of the session, and they all went back and started complaining about drill here, drill now. Well, you know what? It's about a decade too late. It takes about 10 years, 5 to 10 years to get a good oil and gas energy platform in place, whether that's onshore drilling or whether that's offshore drilling. And it takes longer, and it takes a lot of money, and it takes time to get that money in place and the projects good to go that meet the federal government's requirements for environmental regulations. So what is my energy policy? We need to get the Department of Energy out of our energy. We need to make sure that we get in place a better energy mix. We need to start thinking more about natural gas, start thinking about our resources here in the United States so that we become more energy independent. Not completely energy independent, because that would cost you too much, but certainly more energy independent. We need to think about nuclear power. Gosh, there's one we haven't really been talking about too much, but we certainly need to. It's something that could help replace our coal. It could help replace our wind and our solar that are just not economic at this point in time. We really need to aggressively attack our energy policy now before energy gets too expensive to where the American consumer can't pay for it anymore.
Are we addressing these issues like one at a time?
You
or
get
just
2 minutes for each one.
First
so
for energy?
Energy.
Okay. For energy, I believe we need to address the energy issues carefully through conservation, alternative energy, renewable energy, and exploration. One of those aspects won't do the trick. We have to have a full mix of addressing each one of those issues. One of the things that I think our nation really needs to work on is encouraging the transition on the East Coast from heating oil to natural gas. We have so much natural gas, but yet on the East Coast they use heating oil. Heating oil accounts for approximately 10 to 15% of every barrel of oil that we use. Why are we burning so much oil? If we transition slowly over several years, we could save so much oil over the long term by transitioning the East Coast to natural gas. That's the conservation. We also need to encourage investment in alternative energies, solar power, biodiesel, renewable energies, and also exploration. We need to encourage exploration offshore, onshore, wherever possible. But we have to have a mixed approach. We can't do it. One of these aspects won't do it. We have to have each piece carefully executed.
More than 10 years ago, Republicans in Congress sent to President Clinton a bill that opened up ANWR, that allowed us to tap America's resources in Alaska. He vetoed that bill and said it will be too long before we see results of it. It could take 8 or 10 years. Well, guess when gasoline hit $4 a gallon? 8 to 10 years after he vetoed that bill. Our energy policy is that America should take responsibility for producing 2/3 of our daily energy needs, not being reliant on foreign countries for 2/3, but producing 2/3 ourselves. We've introduced legislation, myself and the House Conservatives Republican Study Committee, that does just that. It opens up ANWR. It stopped. By the way, you may remember, some of us, from 2 summers ago when Speaker Pelosi refused to debate energy. She turned off the lights on the House floor. We stayed in the dark, and we rotated throughout that month talking about the need for American-made energy, and we succeeded. That moratorium expired, and now our challenge is to get this government to allow us to actually produce, explore, and lease in that area. We've got amazing resources. Traditional energy, oil and natural gas, oil shale, coal to liquid, clean coal technologies, nuclear. I propose that for all 150 refineries in America, we pair them up with a nuclear power plant so that we can be more energy independent, have more control of our future. And yeah, I support renewable energies, but that's a long way in the future. We need a smart transition to cleaner fuels, natural gas, oil, coal to liquid. All of this is a smart way to do it. And the good news is we can do this.
Energy policy. Does anybody here want to destroy the planet? Anyone? No, I don't see any hands. Nobody does. The argument is just foolish on the face of it. But yet that's what we've been painted into, that corner, that somehow everybody's anti-environment. You know, I don't support all these clean technologies and everything. I support the free market. If there's a clean technology that's commercially viable, it will be here. And it will work because the market will drive it. We need to get the government out of that. We don't need to dump hundreds of billions of dollars into clean technologies that are totally unproven. The solar and natural, the solar and the wind-driven. It's ridiculous. We're spending a lot of our money on things that don't work. Did you hear about just this week with this blizzard? Have you heard what's happened in Minnesota with the turbines? They're frozen up. You know what the response was from the company that made them in California? Said, well, nobody asked us. That's the policies we're getting. Solar power, it is not even close to economically viable. If you do the research, I looked into it. I thought, yeah, solar, that's a good idea. Maybe I can stop paying and I can get something from the sun. You do the research on this stuff. It is outrageously expensive. Outrageously, and there's very little benefit. We need to pursue our energy sources right now. Nuclear is great, but the policy right now of the administration, they're going to open up a bunch of bonds, is what they said, for the same companies that haven't been able to produce a nuclear power plant for the last 40 years. They've been trying. They've been in the permitting process for 40 years. The companies, they don't make any money if they actually make the plant. They make money by getting people to invest in the idea that they're going to make a plant and then slogging through government bureaucracies. Open up the free market. Let the free market address the issue. It takes care of it every time.